I got to tell you, I'm not nearly as frightened by ghosts and goblins as I am by the possibility that this country could vote our economy towards socialism, our police forces toward defunding, our neighborhoods toward riots and looting supported by elected officials, our gasoline prices toward doubling, abortions toward becoming more common, carried out late term or at the time of birth, and funded by our tax dollars, or our policies toward the Middle East moving back in favor of Iran instead of Israel, and our policies toward China more to favoring big globalist corporations instead of American workers and businesses. Now, if voters really think their taxes are too low, you know what? They can voluntarily send in more money to the government. But some of us believe, right here, that government ought to get less and that our families ought to keep more of the money we went out and worked for. Yeah. Now, many of us, I'm sure, have already voted. My wife and I stood in line for over an hour in the rain to vote a week ago. I figured that way if a truck ran over me before Election Day, I could join all the other dead people who would be voting on Election Day. How about that? Yeah. I actually spoke to the president last Sunday, and I told him that he could be happy that there was nothing he could say or do that would now cost him my vote. Now, I want to be honest, how you vote is entirely your business. But the impact of your vote will affect my business and my life, and more importantly, the lives of my grandchildren. But it's not just the election of the president that even matters. Your local school board, your state legislature, your governor and your congressman and senator are likely on the line as well. Here's what that's going to impact: which textbooks your children will study, and whether they are taught that America is an awful, racist country that breeds poverty. Or will they be taught that it's the greatest experiment in freedom and the free market in history, and that it has provided an imperfect but steady climb for women, people of color, and people with disabilities to the highest attainment of any country in history? One of those will be taught. So, if you haven't voted yet, what will make you vote a certain way? Is it the personality of the candidates? Is it what the media says? Or do you actually try to find out what the candidates have done? Not what they've said, but what they've actually done. Because if you vote only for the nice smile or the sweet speech, you might be voting for a wolf in sheep's clothing. See, I'd rather have a sheep in wolf's clothing. Now, please don't think your vote is worthless or doesn't matter, because it does matter. And if you don't vote, you lose your right to complain about how things are going to go in the coming years. Who controls the Senate matters a lot. And if you want to restructure the Supreme Court so that a lot more liberal justices can just make up law, vote for the Democrats. But remember that it was liberals on the courts who took prayer and Bible reading out of schools. They were the ones that made abortion so easy that it protects the abortion doctor, but not the innocent baby. They said that states had to accept same-sex marriage even when the citizens of those states said they wanted to protect biblical marriage. So if your elected representatives want to do these things, that's one thing. You elected them, and if you want them to do those things, they can. But the judicial branch should not be making law by legislating in black robes. So if you haven't voted, please do. But follow the advice that we give at My Faith Votes, which is a national nonpartisan group that I'm honorary chair of. We remind people to pray, think, vote. You should genuinely pray about your vote. And then think about it by doing your homework. And then go and vote. But regardless of how the election turns out, God is bigger than any election, bigger than any person, any party, any policy. God is even bigger than the press. So even if Christians get clobbered by politicians and we end up suffering for our stands, we should remember God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. And greater is He that is in us than he that is in the world. But let's still pray, think, and vote. Wait, don't click that button. Well, unless it was the subscribe button, and then carry on. And while you're down there, hit that little notification bell too. Oh, and if you leave a like and a comment, I will personally give my dog Toby a treat.